leading an epic life as a rock star to finding out he was a dad in the most bizarre way. Steve Tyler's journey to fatherhood has been as wild as his career. Well, as crazy as this sounds, he had absolutely no idea he had a third daughter. I'm sure you guys remember Aerosmith's lead singer, the band that sang the famous song Dream On. Yeah, it turns out that the man thought he had 2 daughters when in fact he had 3. Even this mystery daughter was unaware of who her father was until she reached the age of 9 or 10. Can y'all guess who this girl is? I'll tell you. It's Liv Tyler.
So the Lord of the Ring race, Lord of the Rings just said, release or surrender the halfling, okay?
If you want him, come and claim him. I know the Elvish too.
You know the Elvish?
Yeah.
Okay, do the Elvish. Do the Elvish.
Nino hithaiglir lastu beptar. Rimonin bruinen danin ulair.
She's known for her role in the Lord of the Rings trilogy as Arwen. Didn't y'all just love her in those movies?
If you want him, come and claim him. Nino hithaiglir lastu beptar.
Well, it turns out that she grew up thinking musician Todd Rundgren was her father. In fact, even Todd himself had no idea she wasn't his biological daughter. Her mother, singer Bebe Buell, dated Todd in the 1970s. Even though the couple had broken up by the time Liv was born, he signed the birth certificate claiming to be the father. What? Todd did admit to having doubts about whether Liv was his child or not, but it seemed the man loved Bebe too much to even care. He ended up giving his surname to the baby while also making sure that she was taken care of financially. Both he and Bebe agreed that he'd be the girl's custodian, and if there were any problems, they'd tell her the truth at 18. Liv said that the reason behind all this secrecy was due to Steve's drug addiction.
Do you miss being not sober? Ever?
Sometimes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I miss.
What's the pros and cons?
That if I do, I'll wind up doing too much.
For sure?
For sure. I can't control it.
It's just the way you are.
Just the way I am.
Her mom was too scared to tell him about his daughter while he was already struggling, which is fair. It was probably for the best because she just wanted to protect her child from any negative influence. Rundgren, however, was an excellent father to her. He had a very positive impact on her, giving her a secure life. And while they didn't see each other very often, he made sure that he supported her education financially, sending her to the most prestigious schools and making sure she got whatever she needed. Liv has a lot of regard and respect for what he did for her.
He's been such a beautiful, wonderful influence.
I mean, it's not an easy task to step in and take on such a huge responsibility. I'm glad they have such a good relationship. Liv was a smart girl, though. She realized pretty early on that there was something that wasn't adding up about the whole scenario. That feeling only became stronger once she met Steve Tyler. She was around 8 years old when her mother introduced the two and arranged the meeting while he was performing at a concert.
Well, I was 8 when I found out he was my dad, but yeah, I have 2 fathers, kind of.
Talk about coming full circle. When her mother initially asked her to come with her so she could introduce her to Steve, she almost didn't go because she was enjoying the performance so much. But I guess her agreeing to meet him paid off. I mean, the girl found her real father. He bought her a Shirley Temple, and she immediately felt a special connection to him. In an interview with The Guardian, she described the feeling as almost spiritual. And according to her, she fell madly in love with him. She even received a poster of him to hang in her room and would have conversations with it. Weird, but okay. She confessed that she even wrote in her diary about her suspicions of Steve potentially being her dad. Now that's an intuitive child, right? Her gut feeling was pretty strong, and lucky for Liv, her stepsister helped seal the deal for her. Steve's second daughter, Mia Tyler, who he had with Serinda Fox, is only a year younger than Liv. And according to the actress's recollection, she saw her stepsister standing near the stage at a concert. To her surprise, she looked exactly like her. She said it felt like she was staring at her twin.
Sister named Mia, who's a year younger than me, and I saw her standing on the side of the stage at a concert, and I literally was like looking at my twin. She looked exactly like me, and I looked at my mom and she had tears in her eyes, and I kind of put it all together.
Oh God, I can't even believe this. But once she got this feeling, she confronted her mother, and thankfully, Bebe didn't deny anything. She told her that it was indeed the truth.
Yes, I did find out that he was my dad, but I kind of figured it out because he looked exactly like.
Jeez. That must have been super hard for the young Liv to take. Imagine finding out that you've been lied to all your life, and by the person who's supposed to be the closest to you. Her trust was broken, and as expected, she did harbor feelings of bitterness toward her mother for a while. But then she came to the realization that it didn't come from a bad place. Her mother just wanted to protect her, and she was also a young mom, so this wasn't exactly an easy decision for her. But once the cat was out of the bag, Steve made a lot of effort with Liv. It takes two to build a relationship. Imagine if Steve hadn't wanted anything to do with this situation. There would have been no way for her to get to know her dad or make him a part of her life. As it happened, the man was still struggling with sobriety, so he went to rehab.
I was, humongous to die for drug addict.
But after coming back and learning the truth, he was so happy that he started calling her every day and formed a friendship with her. Liv also started realizing that they were extremely similar in their attitudes and mannerisms. She felt the same connection with her stepsister too. They developed a closeness with each other, so much so that Liv decided to change her last name from Rudgren to Tyler in 1991. This made Steve extremely happy as well. He was proud to tell the world about his daughter. The singer even sang "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" for the movie Armageddon, in which his daughter was one of the main characters. Prior to that, she also appeared in Steve's music video for the song Crazy when she was 16.
I was only 16 when I did that Aerosmith video, so it was nuts because I would get up for school in the morning and put MTV on, and there was the countdown, and the video would come on.
To top it all off, he was there with her when she gave birth to her first child. She went into labor prematurely, and because of the unplanned circumstances, her husband had to fly in from a different city. So during the delivery, she called Mia, who was the closest to her, and she in turn called Steve to also come to the hospital. He arrived in time to cut the umbilical cord. I think this makes it quite clear that they share a close bond. It's interesting to know that he was part of such an important moment in his daughter's life, but that's not all there is to it. He is a very hands-on kind of grandfather and shares a very cute relationship with his grandchildren, who adore him as well. Liv mentioned that he plays with them just like a child, imitating animal noises, and is basically a magical wizard for her two boys. You know, the goofy, having things stuck in your hair kind of guy. But despite having a great relationship, there are times when Steve does manage to make things awkward for his daughter. Liv talked about this on an episode with Jimmy Kimmel, that though she finds her father to be very amazing, there are times when he, like all other parents, can make things tricky for her. She once said that he asked out one of her friends on a date. Can you guess who it was? Cameron Diaz. She stepped in quickly and told him off, making it a pretty awkward moment. All in all, it's amazing how they formed such a beautiful relationship, even though I'm sure it wasn't easy for either of them to begin with. But it also shows that family is family, no matter when you meet them. That's all about how Steve Tyler learned about his daughter.